What we will be doing now, we have 3 dedoc voices now who will give different perspectives and opinions on what they have been contributing, how they have been living with DIY solutions, where they have been doing research, what they have heard during the Openness Closing Wrap-Up Conference. 3 different perspectives on DIY APS, the We Are Not Waiting community. And we're starting with our dedoc voice from the Netherlands, Minou van Os, who has also been doing quite a bit of research, and she will be reflecting on this question that Katharina was putting out there at the very end. Where are we with the DIY community now that commercial solutions in closed loop are on the market? Are we at a point where we say mission accomplished, or are there new challenges out there? Minou, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Bastian, for your great announcement. And I would also like to start off with a word of thank you, because I'm incredibly grateful to be able to stand here today. This is my first time to be attending ATTD in person, and also my first time to be attending as a dedoc voice on a diabetes conference, and also the first time I'll be speaking as a dedoc voice on this stage. So that's incredibly exciting. And then, yeah, maybe it's good to introduce myself. So my name is Minou. I've lived with diabetes for over 3 years now, and I've been using an open source APS myself for more than 2.5 years. Other than that, I have multiple other roles. You can see all of my badges here that I collected today at the Open Closing Conference. I'm also active in the field of medical psychology, where I'm doing research. I'm currently pursuing a PhD, and I'm also conducting research within the field of open source APS. My main research focus is on the dual perspective of people with diabetes and healthcare professionals. So I could be talking here a lot about research, but you've heard all about the Open Project just from Katharina. So today I'll be sharing my personal story with all of you. So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in October 2019. And I think all of you in this audience who have type 1 diabetes or another type of diabetes themselves can know what it's like to think back to that day and to feel like it feels almost like yesterday, and you can still feel the feeling you felt on that day. Your whole life gets turned upside down. It's like a roller coaster that you end up in without wanting to ride it. It's really overwhelming, and although it could be quite scary at some times to get to live with this new diagnosis, I tried to find a way to make my life with diabetes just a little bit easier. I tried to look for the best solution for me to make my life easier and to be able to live my life with diabetes instead of the other way around. And I started looking out for, okay, what could be the best solution for me to live with this condition? And then, of course, the first place you head to would be your healthcare team, because, of course, they are the ones with the knowledge. So then you ask them, okay, what is available to me? What solutions are there for me to make my life easier? And they told me, okay, we have this website, and you can have a look and fill in your preferences, and at the end, it will pop up what's the best system for you. So the combination of an insulin pump and a glucose sensor. So I thought, okay, let's see what's my solution for my problem, this new condition. So I filled in this tool, and then I was actually a little bit sad because it told me, okay, nothing fits your preferences. So this is actually where my journey began, because, well, I talked to my diabetes team, and they, of course, told me, yeah, you are right, there is nothing that fits your preferences perfectly. But I actually wasn't satisfied with that answer. So I started looking, where can I find more information? And I headed out to the diabetes online community. I went to one of the Facebook groups available, and I just posed a question, well, what should I do? There's nothing that fits my needs. And then many helpful comments came up from all kinds of people with diabetes, which were very, very helpful in my situation, of course. And there was one of them from a person who pointed me at the existence of the Looped Facebook group. And for me, it felt like this was the first spark. And sometimes all you need is just one spark to set something bigger off in your life. So then, flash forward to now. Eventually, I decided to use an open source APS, as I've already told you previously, and I've never regretted that for 1 second. It has been the best choice I've made in my diabetes career, so to say. And That's not only true for me, but also for all of the others living with diabetes. So many more options have also become available now since 2019, because in 2019, when I was finding out the best system for me, there was only one closed-loop system available at that point. And now there are so many more options. If I have to choose a new system now, I have lots of things to choose from. Not only open source, but also commercial. And we are not waiting, and the open mindset has been super important in speeding up this process, so also speeding up the process at the industry side. And this would never have been possible without Dana Lewis, who started all of this, and of course all of the other heroes that are active in the do-it-yourself and We Are Not Waiting community. And it's good to know that the We Are Not Waiting movement would not exist if there would have been perfect options for us available. We Are Not Waiting exists because those options aren't perfect and do not fit our preferences perfectly. And this is a good example to give of this is that Dana Lewis started all of it because she didn't wake up from her alarms that her CGM gave herself. And the same was true for me in a sense, because I couldn't find a system that was perfect for me, so I started looking, what else can I do? And even though living with diabetes has become a bit easier for me, now I'm using an open source system, diabetes still is a struggle. And every day I have moments when diabetes is in my way. So every day I'm also still looking for ways to make my life with diabetes a little bit easier. And then this is just a matter of choice, which is also very important. But there are also lots of people for who diabetes technology is not available, or even insulin might not be available. So this brings me back to the original question. Mission accomplished, or what's next? I think with my story I've illustrated that the mission has definitely not been accomplished yet. There have been great steps in the right direction. And I definitely think that from my interviews with healthcare professionals and people with diabetes, it shows that many people with diabetes are still very fond of open source APS. I myself would never want to switch, or maybe someday, but today I would never want to switch to a commercial system. And also healthcare professionals in my interview study expect the systems to remain used in the future. So there have been great steps so far. And I think what I feel like is that We Are Not Waiting is living in all of us. We all take small steps in the right direction, but together we can make a big change. And that's why I hope to say, what's next? Let's all continue to not keep waiting.
With that, Minou, you gave your perspective on mission accomplished versus what's next. My own perspective when we started the open project has always been that if the open project and the research we do in the We Are Not Waiting community on the DIY solutions leads to commercial industry players coming forward and bringing these closed loop systems into the market, then for me personally, I would consider this mission accomplished. So if I stick true to what I said 4 or 5 years ago, from my perspective, then I would have to say I think we've contributed to coming to a place where we are at mission accomplished in some degree, because there are so many great commercial systems out there these days, and it moved quite quickly, and I am personally using one of them, and I'm actually very happy with that.